Chapter 6:19. Hua Chenhuan raised his eyebrows slightly and whispered into her ear with a faint smile, "Then, did she say that Red Riding Hood was eaten by the big bad wolf in the end?" "What?" Su Yiyan did not hear clearly and turned to look at him in confusion. "Nothing." Hua Chenhuan could see that she was tired. He reached out to hold her shoulders and let her lean on him. "Tired?" Su Yiyan took the opportunity to hug his waist. She buried her face in Hua Chenhuan's arms and said coquettishly, "A little. Sleep with me for a while." "Okay." The couple, who had woken up early in the morning, hugged each other and took an afternoon nap. On the other side, old Master Ching asked his daughter-in-law for a picture of the lunch table. He opened a group called Elderly Fishing Group and sent it out. He Ching, picture, 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 picture. After sending it out, he still did not vent his anger. He opened Old Man Li's private account and sent him a copy. Grandpa Li was looking at his son and grandson with disdain. They had really wasted their lives. They could not even show him filial piety by stuttering. Now, they were coveting the food he had painstakingly obtained. They were really unfilial. The father and son of the Li family met their fathers, grandfathers, disdainful gaze and were embarrassed. Although old Master Li was usually strict with them, he had never despised them as much as he did today. The two of them subconsciously asked their wives for help, but they received the same confused gaze. So, what the hell is going on? After thinking for a while, the whole family turned their eyes to the box of braised meat in front of the old man. The last time old Master Li went to old Master Chang's place to snatch some back, they were not at home. They were very lucky to have eaten it alone. This was the first time they had seen this thing. There were 10,000 question marks in their hearts, but they could not help but drool. The meat looked black, but it smelled really good. Just as they were in a stalemate, Grandpa Li's phone suddenly vibrated and a few messages popped up. Grandpa Li originally wanted to ignore them, but when he saw that the message was from his old friend, he thought about it and opened it to take a look. In the end, he was dazzled by a large number of unknown delicacies. Grandpa Li frowned, realizing that things were not that simple. Sure enough, the next second, she saw old Master Ching send over a picture. It was a plate of stir-fried shredded meat that looked pretty good. The vegetables on it were hua hua lulu. He Ching, did you see that? My Yan specially made this dish for me. It's called fish-flavored shredded pork. Proud. JPG, Mu Zili, shredded pork with garlic sauce. Fish. Didn't you fail to catch any fish? When old Master Ching saw this reply, his face darkened and he snorted coldly. He Ching, this is made from pork. You've never seen the taste of fish made from pork, right? Mu Zili, impossible. How could pork taste like fish? Through the screen, old Master Ching could imagine Rao's surprised expression, and his mood instantly improved. He Ching, that's because you're ignorant. Just because you haven't seen it before doesn't mean that Ing didn't tell you. This shredded meat is especially soft and tender. It tastes salty, sweet, sour, and spicy. That taste, tsk. Grandpa Li could not help but swallow his saliva when he heard old Master Chang's explicit description. However, he still could not believe it. In his opinion, this was just a plate of ordinary shredded meat. Mu Zili, woof. How could a dish have so many flavors? It must taste terrible. Chapter 6:20. Old Master Ching was unhappy when he saw that someone actually said that his precious granddaughter's dishes tasted bad. He Ching, you're the one who's ignorant. My Yan's cooking is very good. How can her dishes taste bad? He Ching, some people are eating my Yan's food, yet they still have the nerve to say that her dishes aren't good. How shameless. He Ching, haha, forget it. There's nothing to do with people like you who think grapes are sour. I'm going to drink the soup that my Yen specially made for me. Goodbye." After old Master Ching sent a few messages dissing Grandpa Li from head to toe, he decisively blacklisted him. Thus, Grandpa Li was a little stunned by his continuous ridicule. When he reacted and wanted to retort, he sent a big red exclamation mark with a notification below. "You have been blacklisted. Please add the other party as a friend again. Grandpa Li." Grandpa Li, who was blacklisted by his scheming old friend, felt a little wronged. Just as he was about to turn his grievances into appetite and finish the entire box of braised food, he looked up and realized that more than half of the box of braised food was gone. There was only a piece of braised meat, half a piece of duck gizzard, and a chicken claw left. He then looked at his son, daughter-in-law, grandson, and granddaughter-in-law around the table. They were all eating with relish. The anger in Grandpa Li's heart exploded as if hot oil had been poured on it. "You unfilial sons." At that time, Su Yiyen still didn't know that she had become the fuse for a family war. She was hugging her man and sleeping soundly. At this time, her live stream recording also reached its peak. Her fish-flavored shredded pork and wife pancake in the live stream caused a heated discussion. At first, some viewers thought that these two delicacies were very rare. Different ingredients could be processed to produce the same taste. Moreover, the name of this wife pancake was quite interesting. Just like the viewers in the live stream, buying such an exquisite box of desserts to coax one's wife or girlfriend, or even to confess one's love. However, no one would have thought that because of the heated discussion among the audience, these two things would silently climb to the real-time hot topic list. There was an employee in He restaurant who liked to surf the internet. While he was free, he browsed the internet and saw the Yuxiang shredded pork hanging on the ceiling. It was not that he was sensitive, but the shredded pork with garlic sauce was one of the signature dishes of He restaurant, and other restaurants did not have it. When the staff saw their signature dish on the internet, they were immediately energized. They thought that a customer who had come to the restaurant before had praised their restaurant's dishes on the internet for being novel and delicious. In the end, when he clicked on it, he found that an internet celebrity had streamed the dish live. He even boasted shamelessly that the dish was made with pork and had nothing to do with fish. The staff's first reaction was that this internet celebrity was deliberately trying to make their restaurant popular. They hurriedly informed their restaurant's manager-cum-chef, Lu Jinjiang, about this. Lu Jingyun was also stunned when he saw this hot topic. After seeing the culprit who caused all this, his eyes turned cold. 10 minutes later, Lu Jinjiang used the Hai restaurant's account to post a status update. He restaurant Nandian, these days, some young people like to bite off more than they can chew. They will do anything to become famous, and they will eventually suffer the consequences. Look back and see the shore, step on solid ground. Chapter 621. She didn't mention Su Yiyen in her live stream, but it gave people a feeling that she was pointing at the mulberry tree and cursing the locust tree. She was using her identity as an elder to persuade the younger generation not to continue to make mistakes. Of course, this was only in the eyes of Su Yiyen's fans and some passers-by. As a well-known high-end restaurant, there was no lack of food-loving supporters under the account. As soon as they saw this post, they immediately thought of the fish-flavored shredded pork on the hot topic list. Some people, like the audience in Su Yiyen's live stream, had eaten fish-flavored shredded pork at the restaurant. In addition, Su Yiyen's audience was mostly patients who were not feeling well and needed medicinal cuisine to recuperate, as well as live stream viewers. There was not much overlap with these simple food lovers who only liked to spend money in physical stores. These supporters didn't know much about Su Yiyen and the restaurant. They had only heard of Su Yiyen's career as a streamer, so they regarded her as an ordinary internet celebrity. When they saw Lu Jinjiang's post, they also preconceived that this unknown internet celebrity was maliciously trying to scam the restaurant. Immediately, they followed the ghostwriters that Lu Jinzheng had hired and flooded into the hashtag fish-flavored shredded pork hashtag topic and began to mock and ridicule. Where did this wild chicken come from? Adding drama without permission. How dare she try to scam the restaurant? Don't you know there's a term called malicious backlash? Do you really think no one can control you? Plagiarism is not a problem. The most disgusting thing is that after plagiarizing, you turn around and bite the chef. What's the difference between this and picking up a bowl to eat meat and putting down the bowl to curse your mother? Are all internet celebrities so arrogant nowadays? How dare she try to scam the restaurant? She's not afraid of meeting ghosts. The audience, who were happily discussing the various delicacies that had appeared in the host's live stream and imagining the wife biscuits that the host would make in the next live stream, were stunned for a few seconds when they saw the ghostwriters and supporters who had suddenly flooded in and were spouting all kinds of fragrant words. It took them a few seconds to realize that these people had run in to cause trouble. The supporters of the restaurant only listened to Lu Jinzheng's one-sided statement and determined that Su Yiyan was maliciously trying to scam the restaurant and distort the facts. However, the viewers in Su Yiyan's live streaming room actually saw her make the shredded pork with garlic sauce. In the end, they even used the simulator to personally taste the finished product. Even the viewer who asked in the live broadcast room at that time had to admit that regardless of the actual cooking method of the shredded pork with garlic sauce, the shredded pork with garlic sauce made by Su Yiyan was much better than the ones from other restaurants. Now that they saw these cursing words, they were all furious, especially when they saw the strange atmosphere in a certain restaurant. They were even angrier when they saw the two sentences that pointed at the mulberry and the locust tree. Originally, I didn't want to turn on the microphone if it didn't involve a certain restaurant. He had been there once and the service was extremely bad. The service staff looked at him with supercilious eyes. The food was expensive but not delicious. All the waiters and chefs in the restaurant almost had the words, "bullying customers," printed on their foreheads. Such a trashy restaurant actually has supporters. It's really an eye-opener. The previous poster is going off topic. When he saw some idiots who thought they were righteous after being used by others, he only wanted to say, if you don't have a brain, you should study more. Shredded pork with garlic sauce was a dish from ancient Earth that had long been lost. Whether it's the host or the restaurant, it's just a restoration. Someone is also shameless. They even flaunted that they were unique. What a joke. Chapter 622. That's right, that's right. The streamer made it very clear during the live broadcast that there was no fish in the fish-flavored shredded pork from ancient Earth. The amazing thing about this dough material was that it used pork to create a fishy aroma. Whether it was the ingredients or the cooking method, it was completely different from a certain restaurant. A certain streamer from a certain restaurant is trying to scam you. I thought that you saw that our streamer was very popular and deliberately stepped on her to boost your restaurant's popularity. Shameless. Get lost. He restaurant supporters were also enraged by Su Yiyan's viewers. Just because you don't want to add fish doesn't mean you won't add fish. Using pork to make fish flavor. Either his brain had been eaten by monsters, or he had been brainwashed to the point of lying through his teeth. He did not even know how to be more professional when it came to lying. Moreover, of all the things she could cook, she had to cook shredded pork with garlic sauce. Who didn't know that shredded pork with garlic sauce was the signature dish of Yi Restaurant? Even so, you still think that I didn't use Yi Restaurant to boost my popularity? Brainless fans are indeed brainless. Friend, didn't your teacher tell you not to jump to conclusions about the unknown? Otherwise, you'll be slapped in the face. Just because you haven't seen or heard of it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. There are tens of millions of people online during the live broadcast, and at least a few million people have opened simulators to taste it online. Do you really think that everyone is like you, being led away by a single sentence and still thinking that you're awesome? As for the signature dish of a certain restaurant, let me emphasize this one last time. Shredded pork with garlic sauce is a dish from ancient Earth. Do you have any evidence to prove that your restaurant is the dish from ancient Earth? If your family can do it, others can't do it. What's the difference between this and those companies who maliciously snatch trademarks? Is this dish your original creation? How dare the streamer plagiarize you? I think it's you who plagiarized the name, shredded pork with garlic sauce, from ancient Earth, using a chicken feather as a token of authority. Now that your lie has been exposed, you're afraid that you'll be exposed, so you strike first to gain the upper hand and nip the threat in the bud. Big restaurants are indeed different when they have a backer. The viewers in Su Yiyen's live broadcast room had experienced a few inexplicable incidents. Whether it was in terms of fighting power or organization, they had made a qualitative leap. They were no longer the pitiful people who could only recognize and pinch people's faces. In their opinion, although Su Yiyen was not a celebrity, it was a fact that they liked Su Yiyen's cooking. Previously, after the streamer had been blackmailed by someone, she hadn't broadcasted for a few days. Although she didn't say anything, she must be very sad. Especially at that time, many of the audience members had been led to change sides at the last minute. Part of the reason why she was sad was because the audience had looked on coldly and no one had spoken up for her. Therefore, many people now understood that the streamer would be sad if no one supported her when she was defamed. Once the streamer was sad, there would be fewer people streaming, and their spiritual food would also be gone. Anyone who touched their spiritual food was their enemy, and they had to deal with them. Lu Jinzheng did not expect that even though he had hired the Internet Water Army to deliberately set the pace, this group of people still could not beat Su Yiyen's scattered audience. His face turned a little ugly for a moment, and he secretly thought about how to add fuel to the fire. However, before he could do anything, the live streaming platform had already stepped forward to counterattack him. Although Su Yiyen and Hua Qinhuan had gone far away, Yu Zian was still paying attention to the situation in Su Yiyen's live broadcast room. He was conscientious in doing all the explosion-proof work. As early as when Su Yiyen's live broadcast had mentioned the cooking method of fish-flavored shredded pork, Yu Zian had sensed that something was wrong. He had asked the public relations department to make emergency preparations in advance. Chapter 623. Sure enough, in less than an hour, the people from He restaurant ran over to cause trouble for young Master Rao. Yu Zian was annoyed by these guys. When young mistress was at home, they would come over from time to time to eat and drink. Now that young Master Rao and young Mistress Rao were out, their only source of entertainment was gone. These people were still rushing over to provoke them. Weren't they looking for trouble? Brothers, we're coming back. As usual, the one who contributes the most will be included in the week's assessment. The one who performs the best may get a portion of young Master Ru's premium medicinal cuisine. For your employee benefits, let's go. Yu Zian's heart was filled with ambition, but he didn't expect that just as he finished shouting his slogan, he was stopped by someone. Wait, boss, it seems that someone made a move first. Someone made a move first. Yu Zian was stunned. Zhua Yanbai and Gu Xiaoyang are fighting for credit again. It doesn't seem to be them. It's the audience in young mistress's live broadcast room. Audience. Yu Zian was stunned and hurried to the screen. It turned out that one of the audience members who watched Su Yiyen's live broadcast was very interested in her fish-flavored shredded pork and wife biscuits. Coincidentally, he majored in ancient earth research or archaeology. Out of curiosity, he sent the clip to his supervisor. The supervisor was also very surprised when he saw it. He flipped through the ancient books at hand and really found the sentence that Su Yiyen mentioned: there was no fish in the fish-flavored shredded pork. As for the second half of the sentence, it was already eaten by worms and could not be seen clearly. As a result, the supervisor was also interested in the host that the student was talking about. He asked the student to recommend Su Yiyen's live broadcast room to him. When Su Yiyen's next live broadcast, he also wanted to see what this legendary wife biscuit looked like. The audience member was very happy to be recognized by the supervisor and immediately recommended Su Yiyen's live broadcast room to his supervisor. At the same time, he also recommended many of the medicinal cuisines and daily dishes that Su Yiyen had made before. After he finally calmed down from the excitement of, from today onwards, I'll follow the same host as my supervisor. Just as he was about to post the incomplete script that his teacher had sent him online to show off, he saw the post from a restaurant's public account. He immediately became angry and directly fired at a certain restaurant. These days, some people like to take advantage of their seniority and stifle the newcomers. You created a fake dish in the name of restoring ancient earth dishes, and when you were exposed, you turned around and mocked others for being too young and inexperienced to be compared with you. You even slandered others for plagiarism. You made the entire industry your own words, and it was all for the sake of profit. Who doesn't know how to do both? In this world, it's not that old people become hooligans, it's that hooligans become old. He still didn't mention a certain restaurant in the entire article. Instead, he directly pointed out that some people were taking advantage of their seniority and deliberately suppressing the newcomers for their own benefit. Most importantly, he even sent out the waxy yellow scroll, stating that it was found by his teacher after searching through ancient books. Moreover, only the first half of the sentence was recorded, the second half was lost. Even so, it could still prove that Su Yiyen's method was the true one. Unfortunately, this audience member wasn't famous. After posting this post, he was directly labeled as a brainless fan. He was accused of maliciously involving ancient books to whitewash Su Yiyen, and was not worthy of studying ancient books at all. Chapter 624. As the saying goes, a fan is better than 10 haters. This was especially true for keyboard warriors and brainless fans who didn't care about the truth. No one believed him when he presented the truth, and he even received a lot of personal attacks. This infuriated the audience, and even the mentors in the audience were infuriated. It just so happened that this tutor was an old urchin who was especially protective of his students. He immediately activated his own interpersonal relationships and pulled people to support his student. Half an hour later, the Ancient Earth Cultural Research Institute forwarded the student's post. However, the person they thanked was Su Yiyen. Ancient Earth Cultural Research Institute, v. Thank you Yanyan's Kitchen for carefully restoring ancient Earth's food culture. I hope you will continue to work hard in the future and work together to add bricks and tiles to ancient culture research. This research institute was different from the one that had repeatedly supported Su Yiyen. It specialized in the study of ancient Earth's cultural classics and intangible heritage. It had many fans who were very curious and fond of ancient Earth's culture. As soon as the official thank you was sent out, many people were stunned. This was especially true for those who had previously vowed that Yenny Restaurant was a well-known restaurant and couldn't possibly be worse than an internet celebrity food anchor. If the officials directly supported this food anchor, wasn't this indirectly proving that the anchor's fish-flavored shredded pork was the real ancient Earth's fish-flavored shredded pork, and that the restaurant was just pretending to be dog meat? Yuzian watched this dramatic development and breathed a sigh of relief. At the same time, he felt a little regretful. TSK, this is really a slap in the face for the officials. Our young madam is amazing. She has a wide range of fans, and many of them are talented people. There's no place for us to show our talents. Us? The employee who had shouted for him to wait looked at Yuzian with a pale face and said with a complicated expression, "Boss, if the boss heard what you said, do you think he would put shoes on you?" Yuzian's expression suddenly froze. He said angrily, "Put shoes on my ass. If it wasn't you or me, who would know? If my shoes were put on me, it would definitely be because of a traitor like you." The employee shrank his neck and said timidly, "The boss is my boss's boss. Even if I really did tip him off, I wouldn't be considered a traitor. Yu Xian. I have nothing to say. This slap in the face came so fast and so fiercely that Lu Jinjiang didn't even have time to react before he was stepped on. Before Lu Jinjiang could figure out how this streamer, who didn't even dare to show her face, had so much power to make these official accounts stand up for him again and again. His position as the manager of the southern branch had already been taken down. Lu Jinjiang's, and Hiz's and felt regretful for the first time. Lu Jinjiang's, Yu Xian's, Yuz's, SSS. What are you doing? Lu Jinfeng had a bad feeling and subconsciously took a few steps back. However, he was quickly restrained by the group of people. He twisted his arms and pressed them against the table in the mausoleum, unable to move. Chapter 625. Lu Jinjiang trembled when he heard that. He looked at the man in surprise with fear in his eyes. After a few seconds, he reacted and struggled to beg for mercy. I was wrong. I won't dare to do it again. Please forgive me this time. I really know that I was wrong. Please forgive me. The man glanced at him contemptuously and said to the bodyguards in black, break his hand. In a few words, Lu Jinjiang's fate had been decided. Lu Jinjiang's eyes narrowed and he struggled even harder. If it was just a dismissal, he could still use his hands and his cooking skills to make money to support his family. Even if he couldn't stay in a city, it would be good to go back to the countryside and open a restaurant. But now, the boss asked people to break his hand. It was clear that he was ready to completely cut off his way out. From now on, he was afraid that he would have no way to make a comeback. Lu Jinjiang kept struggling and begging for mercy, but in the end, he couldn't soften the man's heart. A moment later, a high-pitched scream suddenly came from the restaurant. It scared the passers-by outside and they hurriedly turned around and bypassed this inexplicably terrible place. Solved. Cripple his hand and drive him out. Li Yu respectfully stands beside Do Yi and says in a low voice. Do Yi narrowed his eyes and his expression was uncertain. After a long time, he spat out 3 words, too stupid. Li Yu's heart trembled. Wasn't it too stupid? In their young master's restaurant, he dared to fool around and use his power for personal gain. If he didn't mess with him, who would he mess with? In fact, if it was only because of this incident, Lu Jinjiang's end would not be as miserable as it was now. He was unlucky because he underestimated the power of this online streamer and provoked people who shouldn't be provoked. Not only did he fail, but his subordinates also happened to find out that he was related to Lu Dachui, the manager of the Fragrance of Man Lu, who had used despicable means to maliciously report the carnival hall. Because of this relationship, Lu Jinjiang had a grudge with this streamer. When he saw the comments on the internet, he was impulsive and wanted to use the restaurant's influence to solve his personal grievances, which caused the reputation of Yi restaurant to be damaged. And that was not the most fatal thing. The main reason why he ended up in such a miserable state was that he secretly gave some of his best dishes to his nephew, Lu Dachui, so that he could open the Manlu incense restaurant. Although that restaurant was nothing compared to the Yi restaurant, the restaurant had its own rules. Once the chefs of Hai restaurant were hired, their culinary skills could not be spread outside unless they resigned. Putting aside what happened after he left his post, when he was still in office, it was clearly forbidden to pass on his skills to him. Lu Jinjiang had already violated a big taboo when he was aware of it. Now that he was involved in the private use of public resources, he was really digging his own grave. Do Yi hates useless people, but he hates people who bring him trouble. Lu Jinjiang is one of them, his end can be imagined. Do-yi wouldn't spend too much effort on a useless person who had already been abandoned. After confirming that his subordinates had solved the problem, Do-yi shifted his attention to the online streamer who had damaged their restaurant's reputation. The appearance of the Ancient Earth Culture Research Institute made many people begin to talk about the origin of Su Yiyan. From the institute and the testing department personally certified the ancient earth medicinal herbs, to the source of the food culture this time. Although Su Yiyan had repeatedly declared that she was just an ordinary person in the live broadcast, there were still many people who expressed extreme curiosity about her origin. Chapter 626. Some people even thought that she might have come from a scholarly family, a hidden clan that had been passed down for thousands of years. Otherwise, how could her family have so many books that recorded ancient Earth? The reason why she didn't show up was that she wanted to keep a low profile. While doing what she liked, she wanted to protect her family from being disturbed. Many people knew this, but because of their own curiosity, they wanted to dig out her identity. For this reason, they didn't hesitate to use some outrageous means. Of course, these means didn't really have any effect. They were strangled in the cradle by Sui Yanbai and others. Do-yi looked at the comments about Su Yiyan on the internet, as well as the shares of the lucky audience who had been to the restaurant or the live broadcast room. His eyes flashed, and he couldn't help but be a little interested in this mysterious woman. In particular, this woman had a conflict with Wen Jingping before, and she had the upper hand. And if one looked carefully, they would find that the beginning of Wen Jingping's trouble seemed to be this woman. Was this woman more capable than Wen Jingping? Was her medicinal diet more effective than Wen Jingping's food? Do-yi was thinking about whether Su Yiyan or Wen Jingping was more valuable, when one of the parties involved appeared at the door. Wen Jingping had just returned from outside when she heard about the incident at He restaurant. After understanding the ins and outs of the matter, Wen Jingping's face turned pale. She had suspected that this food anchor who suddenly appeared and didn't show her face was also a transmigrator like her. Now, she saw her talking about shredded pork with garlic sauce, and saw the research institute stand up for her. Wen Jingping was more and more certain that this woman was also a transmigrator like her. This knowledge made Wen Jingping panic instantly. How could there be two transmigrators in this world? Could it be that she had been thinking too much all this time? The reason why God let her transmigrate to this place wasn't to let her change her destiny. No, it couldn't be like this. It definitely couldn't be like this. If her transmigration was really of no use to him, why would he spend so much effort to let her live another life? Why would he? Wen Jingping's hands, which were hanging by her side, subconsciously tightened. Her sharp fingernails almost pierced her palms to the point of bleeding. So what if she was also a transmigrator? As long as he killed her, as long as he killed her. Wen Jingping's face turns ferocious. She doesn't want to go upstairs. She bumps into Do-yi and Liu talking about the internet. The alarm bells in Wen Jingping's heart rang loudly, and the uneasiness in her heart suddenly rose to the peak. Wen Jingping is very clear why Do-yi keeps her by his side. If that woman. When Do-yi saw Wen Jingping, his eyes flashed with a trace of surprise. But he quickly calmed down. He raised his hand and beckoned her to come to his side. Wen Jingping pursed her lips and walked up to him, taking the initiative to hold his hand. Why are you back so early today? Teacher Xia has something to do today, so she asked me to come back first. Do-yi didn't care about what happened to Teacher Xia and left early. Instead, he reminded Wen Jingping in a low voice, Teacher Xia is the best teacher in Hai Yi. You should learn from her so that you won't have to suffer so much when you start working. Wen Jingping's face slightly changed. She cleverly said, I know. I will work hard to learn. Then she seemed to think of something and said, I heard from the housekeeper that you are somewhat unhappy today. Chapter 627. A cold glint flashed in Do Tiany's eyes, but he said, well, something happened at one of our restaurant branches, but it has been resolved. I just took a look, and it seems to be related to a live streamer on Chew. Do Tianyi glanced at her and said calmly, it was a branch manager who didn't handle it well and was caught. Wen Jingping lowered her head and whispered, I think, it's not that simple. It's not that simple. Do Tianyi looked at her with great interest. You mean, this might not be just a problem with my subordinates? Yes. Wen Jingping showed a troubled and tangled expression. She hesitated for a moment before saying, in fact, I used to be a live streamer on Chew for a while to save money for tuition and living expenses. Before this live streamer appeared, I was still a newbie live streamer promoted by the gourmet section of this live streaming platform. Oh. Do Tianyi raised his eyebrows. Then why didn't you continue to live stream later? Instead, you went to the entertainment industry. Wen Jingping pursed her lips and was a little sad. When she first joined the website, I happened to accept a variety show and stopped broadcasting for a while. When I had time to go online, I received a reminder from some of my live stream viewers, saying that someone was deliberately imitating my live stream and copying some of the dishes I had streamed in my live stream room. I was very angry at the time, so I warned her online. I didn't expect. What? I didn't expect this person to have such a strong background. She turned black and white and said that I deliberately scammed her to make her popular. She even found people from the research institute to support her. At that time, I was just an ordinary live streamer on the platform. How could I compete with a behemoth like the research institute? Wen Jingping's eyes immediately turned red when she said this. She looked like a weak and pitiful person who was bullied by the strong. It didn't take long for the platform to terminate my contract. They also withheld all the income one earned from live streams, saying that I violated the company's rules and tarnished the reputation of the platform. They asked me to pay compensation. Not only will I not be able to get the money that originally belonged to me, but I will also have to pay a large sum of money to the platform. Do Tianyi didn't say anything. Wen Jingping gritted her teeth and continued, later, I realized that something was wrong. I wanted to look for the fans who reminded me of the plagiarism, but I found. Do Tianyi looked at her with interest. What did you find? I discovered that those people seemed to have evaporated into thin air. Do Tianyi saw through her thoughts at a glance. He smiled faintly and said, Are you suspecting that those people approached you with a purpose and deliberately provoked the conflict between you and her so that you would find trouble with her? Wen Jingping was silent for a while, and then said in a hoarse voice, I just feel that what happened that time is a bit similar to what you encountered this time. Wen Jingping was vague, but she vaguely hinted that Do Tianyi's matter was very likely to be a good show directed and acted by someone. Whether it was her or Do Tianyi's store manager, they had all been fooled. Do Tianyi's face darkened slightly, and he said coldly, I understand. I will get someone to investigate it clearly. Wen Jingping thought that he believed her words and was ready to find trouble with the little streamer. A happy smile flashed across her eyes. Then you continue to talk with Minister Li. I will go and cook first. Go. Do Tianyi let go of Wen Jingping's hand and watched her leave. As soon as she left, Do Tianyi's face darkened. Do you believe her words? Li Yu was stunned. She subconsciously glanced at Do Tianyi and said tactfully, the people at the research institute are not stupid. They would personally stand up for a woman's performance. Chapter 628. If Li Yu could see it, how could Do Tianyi not see it? The more Wen Jingping smeared Su Yiyan's name in front of him, the more Do Tianyi was interested in this little streamer. Medicinal cuisine. Do Tianyi chewed on the word and pondered for a long time. Suddenly, he said, get someone to bring a portion of this streamer's so-called medicinal cuisine over. Li Yu froze for a moment and said awkwardly, the medicinal cuisine in her restaurant is 1 serving per person. It can't be taken out. Do Tianyi turned to look at him when he heard that. Li Yu's heart trembled and his lips trembled. He couldn't say a word. After a long time, Do Tianyi spoke again. If the restaurant can't take it out, can't you think of another way? Another way? You mean, the lucky draw in her live broadcast room? Do Tianyi didn't say anything. Li Yu knew that this was indeed a way, but this streamer's live broadcast room had tens of millions of viewers. It was very difficult to be favored by the goddess of luck and become 1 in 10 million. The only way was to try to get the lucky viewers to transfer the food to them. However, this would probably take a lot of effort and money. As if he could read Li Yu's mind, Do Tianyi glanced at him and added, no matter the cost. With this guarantee, Li Yu breathed a sigh of relief and promised, I understand. I'll get someone to keep an eye on this live broadcast room. When she broadcasts next time, we'll definitely bring it back. Okay. Do Tianyi's face was expressionless. His eyes were deep, and no one could see through his true thoughts. He didn't care what kind of grudge this woman had with Wen Jingping, but before that, he had to figure out if this woman's medicinal cuisine was really as magical as the people on the internet said. Su Yiyan slept for a very long time. When she woke up, the sky was almost dark. She had slept through a meaningless dispute. Hu Qinhuan had woken up a long time ago, but seeing that she was sleeping soundly, he didn't move. He just watched her sleeping face from the side until she woke up. When Su Yiyan woke up, she looked at the sky outside as if she had just woken up from a dream. She was a little surprised. Why is the sky already dark? What time is it? It'll be dinner soon. Su Yiyan was completely awakened by his words. Have you had dinner? Then didn't I? Sleep for 3 to 4 hours. You only found out now. Hu Qinhuan reached out and pinched her nose. Someone is sleeping like a little pig. My hand is numb from the pillow. Su Yiyan blushed and mumbled embarrassedly, why didn't you call me? I can't bear to see you sleeping so soundly. How's your hand? I'll rub it for you. Su Yiyan took Hu Qinhuan's battered hand and massaged it while scolding, really, you don't even know how to move when I'm asleep. Aren't you afraid that your hand will be crippled after being my pillow for so long? In the end, she couldn't help but glare at Hu Qinhuan. Hu Qinhuan wasn't angry. He was in a good mood and joked with her. Even if my hand is crippled, I still have you, right? Su Yiyan's injured hand suddenly paused, and the blush on her face quickly spread from her cheeks to her neck. Can't you be serious? I'm not serious. Hu Qinhuan was stunned for a few seconds before he realized the meaning of Su Yiyan's words. The smile in his eyes became more obvious. What are you thinking about? I mean, you can cure my leg. Even if my hand is crippled, you can also cure it. Literally. Your reaction is so big. Could it be that you thought of something strange? Chapter 629. Su Yiyan looked into Hu Qinhuan's eyes and finally got angry out of humiliation. She flung his hand away, pushed him forward, and got off the bed first. Hu Qinhuan knew when to stop and didn't tease her anymore. He got up and straightened his clothes before going back to the front yard with her. Qin Shuiru saw the two of them come out and looked at them a few times. She said with a smile that wasn't a smile, you're up. Su Yiyan avoided her probing eyes and quickly changed the topic. Where's Grandpa and Uncle? Your uncle went out to buy something. As for Grandpa, he took Dun Dun out for a walk a while ago. They should be back soon. Chow chow, chow chow, chow chow. Just as the two of them mentioned Old Master Qing, a familiar barking sound came from outside. They looked in the direction of the sound and saw Dun Dun running in with his short legs. Behind him was Old Master Qing, who was leisurely driving the dog with the leash. Go, go, go quickly. TSK, this is the bad thing about having short legs. You can't run fast. Su Yiyen and the others, done with short legs. It's bad enough that you ran away, but you're saying that your legs are short. You're going too far. The man and the dog finally made it into the house after being dragged along. Dun spread his legs and fell forward, becoming a dog biscuit on the ground. Old Master Ching couldn't help but scold it again. You're getting lazier and lazier. Previously, you were very active when I took you out to play. You ran all over the place and I couldn't stop you. Today, you just went out for a walk and you can't run anymore. I even had to drag you back. Really? Old Master Ching squatted beside Dun and looked at him carefully. He clicked his tongue and said, I think you've gotten fat because of the good food these few months. Look at your body. You've gotten fatter than last time. I couldn't even carry you when I wanted to. You're a dog, so why are you so fat? You're not a pig. You must lose weight. Aunt Fong, don't give him meat tonight. Just prepare some vegetables. Woof. Woof, woof, woof. It was fine that he was despised for having short legs, but now he was personally attacking his body in race. The worst thing was that his dinner was being deducted. He couldn't live like this. Old Master Ching seemed to have heard Richard's complaint. He looked at Richard meaningfully and said seriously, if you want to eat meat, you can go out with me every morning and night. Run more often, and you should be able to lose weight. Woof. Dun barked and wanted to protest, but Su Yian had already squatted beside it and reached out to pinch the back of its neck. As he touched her, he advised, be good. Grandpa took you out for a walk because he loves you. You can't have your cake and eat it too. If you don't want to eat, then go out for a walk. Old masters love old zats, old s's to dun of, as a dog, heath s. S2. Dun, who was brought to this place and forced to lose weight, felt hopeless. He hugged himself tightly and missed his wife who was thousands of kilometers away. The few of them played with the dog for a while. Qing Juanhao came back with his shopping. Qin Chuaru saw that Su Yiyen had slept for a long time in the afternoon. She guessed that she must be tired after cooking so many dishes in the afternoon. Qin Chuaru didn't let her into the kitchen at night. She only asked Aunt Fong to heat up the leftover food and add some braised food that was added after lunch. Chapter 630. After the family had dinner, Qin Chuaru suddenly said, you young people shouldn't stay at home all the time. There's a lantern festival at the market tonight. Yen, bring Chen Huan over to take a look and broaden his horizons. Lantern festival. Hua Chen Huan looked curious. Su Yiyen's eyes lit up. Yes, there's a lantern festival today. It's a very lively festival here. Many single boys and girls will participate. If you meet a boy or girl you like at the festival, you will hand over the lantern in your hand. If the other party has a good impression of you, they will accept your lantern. Hua Chen Huan's face darkened. What lantern festival? It was clearly a large-scale blind date. Su Yiyen turned her head and saw his dark face. She was still a little confused. Then, she thought of what she had just said and quickly reacted. Actually, it's not just single men and women. Many couples will participate as well. There are many activities at the festival. We can go to the moat to release river lanterns and make wishes. We can also go to the hillside to watch fireworks. It's very fun. Su Yiyen looked at Hua Chenhuan eagerly. It was as if she was saying, go, I want to go. Hua Chenhuan couldn't resist her pleading and finally nodded. Qin Shuaru watched with great interest. She smiled and said, "Don't listen to Yin Yan's nonsense. Although there are many young people at the Lantern Festival, there are also many old people and children. Yin Yan loved to pester the old man to take her out to play when she was young. When it comes to the Lantern Festival, she will have fun. There are many people at the Lantern Festival. Chenhuan, you have to hold Yin Yan well. Don't lose her." Su Yiyan was provoked. She shouted angrily, "Aunt! I'm not a child anymore." Qin Shuiru couldn't help but laugh. She said perfunctorily, "Yes, yes, yes. You're not a child anymore." Hua Chenhuan also joined in. He held Su Yiyan's hand tightly and said seriously, "Don't worry. I'll hold her well. I won't lose her." "All right, go, go," Qin Shuiru said as she pushed the two young men out of the door. The Lantern Festival was not far from the Qing family's house, and it was only a 10-minute walk. The two of them walked side by side, and they could see the rows of beautiful lights from afar. "When did you come here often with your grandfather?" "Not often, just once or twice. At the Lantern Festival, fireworks would be set off at 8 or 9 o'clock. I liked watching fireworks. Every time I heard the commotion, I would make a fuss about coming over to play. There are many people at the Lantern Festival, so my grandfather was naturally worried about me running around alone. He could only reluctantly bring me here himself." Su Yiyan missed that period of time and felt a little regretful. Later on, Grandpa got older and older. Uncle and the others were worried that there would be too many people at the Lantern Festival. It would be too crowded and easy for people to bump into each other. It was really inconvenient for the two of us, so they didn't let us go. Hua Chenhuan's heart softened. She promised in a low voice, "I'll accompany you in the future." "Of course you have to accompany me. Otherwise, do you want me to come alone?" Hua Chenhuan immediately understood the meaning behind her words. She couldn't help but tighten her grip on Su Yiyan's hand. It was impossible for her to come to such a large-scale lantern festival alone. It was impossible in this lifetime. The Lantern Festival was surrounded by lanterns and colored banners. There were also people selling colored lanterns everywhere. Su Yiyan and Su Yiyan bought two animal-shaped colored lanterns. One was a rabbit, and the other was a tiger. It seemed like it was Hua Chenhuan's first time coming into contact with such a cute toy. She felt awkward while holding it in her hand. Chapter 631. Su Yiyan could tell at a glance, but she didn't expose him. She was having a hard time holding back her laughter. Just as Su Yiyan said, there were many young people at the Lantern Festival. There were a few girls or boys who were together, and there were also couples who came together. There were men and women of all ages, but there were relatively more single men and women. For this reason, many stalls set up couples to compete for prizes. It gave some young people who had a crush on each other but didn't know how to say it out loud an excuse to form a temporary team. Su Yiyan and Su Yiyan walked forward with the lanterns in their hands. Then, they heard a commotion not far away. They took a closer look. It turned out that a stall was having an event. It wasn't a special event. It was just shooting balloons. There were 10 bullets. The more balloons they hit, the more generous the prize. Most of the prizes were different types of lanterns. The highest prize was a very beautiful lotus lantern. It was very big, and there were silver patterns on the petals. If it could be lit up and placed in the river, it would reflect the ripples of the water. It would be very beautiful. When Su Yiyan saw the lotus lantern, she couldn't take her eyes off it. Hua Chenhuan's eyes flashed, and she took the initiative to pull her over. "You!" Su Yiyan was stunned for a moment. She staggered forward with Hua Chenhuan. When the stall owner saw the two of them, his eyes lit up. He took the initiative to ask, do the two of you want to try? Hua Chenhuan glanced at him and went straight to the point. The first prize is that lotus lantern. Yes, but you have to hit all 10 of them. Hua Chenhuan nodded and confirmed the prize. She immediately spent money to buy 2 sets of bullets. Su Yiyan finally reacted. She pulled Hua Chenhuan's clothes and asked in a low voice, "What are you doing? This game is very deceptive." Hua Chenhuan looked at her and smiled faintly. "You like that lotus lantern? What do I like? Are you going to find it for me? As long as you want it, I will find it for you." It was undeniable that Su Yiyan was struck by Rao's sugar-coated bullet and was a little stunned. By the time she realized what was going on, Hua Chenhuan had already started shooting balloons. This kind of balloon shooting activity seemed simple, but in fact, it was very difficult for people who had not touched the wooden warehouse to find the right direction at the beginning. Many of the balloons on the board were deliberately blown up, which imperceptibly created a certain level of difficulty for the customers. Several people had tried before, and there were many who could hit the target, but there was no cherry blossom who could hit all 10 shots. Hua Chenhuan and Zhang Ziyan were good-looking. As soon as they came over, they attracted a lot of attention. However, at this time, many people were only attracted by their appearance. They believed that this was another fat sheep with a lot of money trying to please his girlfriend. However, they were soon slapped in the face. Hua Chenhuan's posture was very proper. Even though she was holding a toy in her hand, she still gave off an imposing aura. Usually, in this kind of situation, they were either trying to act cool and had no strength, or they had really played it before. Hua Chenhuan was obviously the latter. His shooting speed was very fast, and he did not need to aim at all. In the time that everyone was stunned, he had already shot 5 or 6 shots, and all of them hit. The people around them seemed to have woken up from a dream. Even the stall owner was surprised. However, it was not that no one had started well before. It was normal to miss 1 or 2 shots towards the end. The stall owner quickly adjusted his facial expression. Like everyone else, he nervously looked at Hua Chenhuan, waiting for his last few shots. Chapter 632. 7, 8, 9, 10. Everyone on the side silently counted the number in their hearts. When the last shot landed, the balloon exploded with a loud bang. The crowd couldn't help but exclaim, "He did it! He did it!" The exclamations were filled with regret and amazement. It was a pity that the beautiful lantern had fallen into someone else's hands, but at the same time, they were happy to be able to see who got the lantern with their own eyes. The stall owner didn't expect this tall and handsome young man to take away the biggest prize in his shop. He was stunned for a few seconds before he regretfully took down the biggest lotus flower lantern and handed it to Hua Chenhuan. Hua Chenhuan took the lotus flower lantern and immediately handed it to Su Yiyan. Unsurprisingly, the surrounding girls exclaimed in envy. A few of them even pinched their boyfriends to vent their dissatisfaction. Su Yiyan still hadn't recovered from the shock of her man being so amazing. She looked at the lantern that was almost in front of her, then looked at Hua Chenhuan's shining eyes, which faintly showed that he was asking for credit. She smiled slightly and took the lantern. "Thank you. It's very beautiful. I'm glad you like it." Hua Chenhuan wanted to pull Su Yiyan away. Su Yiyan grabbed him and smiled faintly. "We'll go play with the lanterns later. Do you want to choose one too?" Hua Chenhuan was stunned. He turned his head and glanced at the stall. The stall owner's hair stood on end. He was afraid that this guy would be so happy that he would buy all the gifts in his shop. Hua Chenhuan's eyes circled around the lanterns and finally fixed on a lotus flower lantern that was similar to Su Yiyan's lantern, but it was a full circle. This lantern only needed 5 shots to take it away. Hua Chenhuan didn't hesitate and shot 5 balloons as fast as he could. He didn't shoot the rest and directly asked the stall owner to give him the lantern. After successfully sending the couple away, the stall owner wiped the sweat off his forehead. He was glad that the two of them did not stay for too long, but at the same time, his heart ached for the first prize that had been taken away. Su Yiyen had only taken one large flower lantern, and it was first come, first served. Because of this, the stall owner lost a portion of his customers. However, due to Hu Chenhuan's perfect accuracy, some of the spectators had the misconception that this game is so simple, I can do it too. This, in turn, attracted some customers for the stall owner. After balancing it out, the stall owner's loss was not that great. Su Yiyen happily held the big lantern that her man had won for her. She giggled and asked curiously, "How did you know how to play this? And you're playing so well." "I studied at my uncle's place for a while." "Uncle again?" Su Yiyen's footsteps paused for a moment, but he quickly returned to his original state. He said casually, "You must have practiced for a long time to hit so accurately, right?" "Not bad, 2 or 3 years." 2 or 3 years. These 2 or 3 years were definitely not after his accident. A 12 or 13-year-old boy could have such accuracy after practicing for 2 or 3 years. Most importantly, after so many years, he was still not rusty at all. Su Yiyen looked at him with sparkling eyes and giggled. "You're really good." Hu Chenhuan was praised by her. He stopped in his tracks, and the tips of his ears quickly turned red. He secretly thought that in the dating strategy, occasionally showing your strengths in front of your spouse, girlfriend, without batting an eyelid would make her love you more. It seemed that it made sense. Chapter 633. There were many people at the Lantern Festival. Su Yiyen was holding the big lantern. Not only did she attract a lot of attention, but she was also afraid of being squeezed. After hesitating for a moment, she decided to set off the 2 lanterns first. "The fireworks will start in an hour. I'll go to the moat to set off the lanterns first, and then watch the fireworks." Hu Chenhuan didn't know the process of the Lantern Festival. Naturally, she followed whatever Su Yiyen said. When the two of them happily walked to the moat, there were already a lot of people there. Lanterns were placed into the moat one after another, swaying back and forth, bringing up bits of starlight that reflected in the moat. From afar, it looked like a silver ribbon. Su Yiyen and Su Yiyen didn't bring anything to light a fire, so they could only borrow a light from the people next to them. How do we do this?" Su Yiyen looked at Hu Chenhuan holding the lantern with a serious expression as if he was facing a formidable enemy. She almost could not help but laugh out loud. "First, light up the lanterns inside, then make a wish. Put them in the moat and let them float away with the current. Can this wish come true? There is such a saying." Su Yiyen looked up at Hu Chenhuan and smiled faintly. "Do you want to try?" "Okay." The two lit the lanterns in their hands, closed their eyes, and made a wish. Su Yiyen only had one wish, so she quickly made it. She secretly opened one eye to look at the person next to her. When she saw that Hu Chenhuan was about to open his eyes, she quickly closed it again. She pretended to open her eyes later than him and pulled him to the moat. "Wait." Hu Chenhuan glanced at the slightly high bank and the moat, which she couldn't see the depth of. She took the lantern in Su Yiyen's hand and whispered, "I'll go. You wait here." Su Yiyen was stunned for a moment, but she didn't refuse. She took out her phone and wanted to take a picture of this scene for her collection. However, as soon as she took out her phone and pointed the camera in Hu Chenhuan's direction, a message automatically popped up. Su Yiyen frowned. She clicked on it and found that there were 999 plus private messages in her personal account. Su Yiyen's heart skipped a beat. His first reaction was that something had happened. She clicked on it and found that most of the recent messages were comforting her or apologizing to her, saying that they had accidentally hurt her by following the crowd and that they really shouldn't have done so. They hoped that she could forgive them. She scrolled through the internet and found that most of the comments between 1 p.m. and 2 p.m. were scolding her. They scolded her for being shameless and ungrateful, for taking advantage of other people's popularity, plagiarizing other people's work, and even claiming to be a thief. Plagiarizing the results of others. Su Yiyen was confused and simply went online to check his name. Only then did he roughly understand the ins and outs of the matter. Su Yiyen's eyes flashed with a trace of surprise. She didn't expect that so many things had happened on the internet while she was sleeping. After the Ancient Earth Cultural Research Institute came forward, the Hai restaurant quickly responded. The person involved, who was the chef of the branch that made the fish-flavored shredded pork with fish, was officially fired. They also permanently removed the fish-flavored shredded pork with fish from the shelves. They also apologized to Su Yiyen, who was involved in this matter. Su Yiyen frowned slightly. Her intuition told her that this matter was not simple. Sure enough, she found a private message from the Hai restaurant among the numerous private messages. This private message was sincerely worded. First, they apologized to her for the branch manager's matter and offered to give her some compensation. Then, perhaps because she didn't reply, they sent another message, saying that they hoped to cooperate with her. It was a win-win situation. Chapter 634. No matter what, Hai restaurant was still a big restaurant. Although its reputation had been damaged due to this incident, its reputation had declined. The main store reacted quickly by cutting off its tail like a gecko and quickly stabilized most of the customers who were wavering. For such a big restaurant, if an ordinary streamer or even a restaurant manager received such an olive branch, they might have agreed. However, Su Yiyen was not an ordinary streamer, and developing the restaurant was not her main purpose. Instead, Hai restaurant's goodwill made her feel like a weasel paying a visit to a chicken. She unconsciously raised her guard. Why are you in a daze? When Hu Chenhuan came back, he saw Su Yiyen holding her phone in a daze. Nothing. Su Yiyen quickly put away her phone and naturally held Hu Chenhuan's hand. She did not want these messy things to disturb their date today. Have you put it away? Hu Chenhuan nodded and raised his hand to point in a direction. It's over there. Su Yiyen's lantern was too big. Even in the middle of the densely packed lanterns, it was still a crane and a flock of chickens. It could be seen at a glance. The two continued to walk forward hand in hand. Hu Chenhuan suddenly asked, "What did you wish for just now?" "Then what did you wish for just now?" Hu Chenhuan was silent for a moment and said in a muffled voice, "I asked first." Su Yiyen was a little surprised when she heard his words. One had to know that this person did not have a temper before. Every time she asked, he would obediently answer. This time, he actually talked back. Su Yiyen pondered for a moment. In the end, she did not compromise. She avoided his eyes and said, "Well, if the wish comes out, it won't come true." "No, no." Hu Chenhuan could not help but laugh. He acknowledged her shameless behavior and did not ask any more questions. Walking out of the moat, Su Yiyen saw a candy stall from afar. This kind of craft candy stall had always been the most lively place in the Lantern Festival. Even if the price was more expensive, there were still many people who wanted something new and flocked to it. At this moment, there were already 10 to 20 people in front of the stall. It was quite a spectacular sight. Hu Chenhuan's eyes flickered when she saw this. She asked in a low voice, "Do you want to eat that? There are so many people here." "Forget it. Wait for me here." Hu Chenhuan handed the tiger lantern to Su Yiyen and turned around to walk towards the stall. Su Yiyen opened his mouth and wanted to stop him, but he was a step too late. He could only stand there with the two animal lanterns in his hand, secretly anxious. Of course, Hua Chenhuan wasn't stupid enough to line up. The customer at the front of the line had already started making the sugar figurine, so Hua Chenhuan spent money to buy a seat from the second customer. The customer in the second row took the money and went to the back of the line. He didn't force himself to take up an extra seat, so the people behind him didn't object. Su Yiyen saw this scene and felt a little relieved. She obediently stood in place and waited for him to come back. Hua Chenhuan was tall and handsome. When he bought the seat, he was very generous. In an instant, he attracted the attention of many girls around him. When he got the two lifelike sugar figurines and was about to go back, a girl suddenly stood in front of him with a blushing face. Under the encouragement of her friends, she shyly handed over the lantern in her hand. Su Yiyen was bored from waiting. When she looked up and saw this scene, her face turned green on the spot. What was wrong with this woman? Was she trying to steal her man in front of her? Chapter 635. Hua Chenhuan was also stunned by this sudden turn of events. Looking at the lantern in the other party's hand, she immediately remembered what Su Yiyen had said before she left. Her eyes turned cold as she said coldly, "You're blocking my way." The shy girl's smile suddenly froze. Her eyes widened as she looked at the person in front of her in disbelief. However, she realized that the other party didn't even look at her. Instead, he walked to the side and walked away without any hesitation. The surrounding Raffles gazes fell on the girl like sharp thorns. The girl's face turned green. In the end, she couldn't take it anymore and ran away while covering her face. Su Yiyen's expression became better. Just as she was about to go up to her, she was surrounded by a few hooligans. "Sister, are you alone? It's so boring to be alone at such a lively lantern festival. Do you want to join us?" Su Yiyen's face darkened. She avoided the leader's outstretched hand and sneered, "I'm sorry, but I'm married." Su Yiyen even raised her hand to reveal the diamond ring on her finger. It was so dazzling that it almost blinded their eyes. As expected, the few of them were stunned. However, the leader still had some doubts. He frowned and said, "Sister, if you don't want to, you don't have to use such an excuse." "All right then, I'll stand up straight." "I don't want to. Please don't disturb my date with my husband." "Thank you." The faces of the men changed. "Your husband?" As soon as they finished speaking, they heard a frosty voice ask from behind them, "What do you want to do to my wife?" The faces of the men suddenly changed. They turned around and saw Hua Chenhuan's face, which was as black as the bottom of a pot. Hua Chenhuan was still holding two sugar figurines in his hand. Logically speaking, he should look very down to earth. However, the aura around him was too terrifying. It made people feel that he wasn't holding sugar figurines, but a machete that could cut all of them into pieces at any time. The leader of the men swallowed hard. At least he had some eyesight. He said embarrassedly, "Sorry to disturb you. We'll leave immediately. We'll leave immediately." After that, he didn't care about the others' reactions. He turned around and ran. The few people who came with him were stunned for a moment before they hurriedly ran after him. Although he had left, Hua Chenhuan's face was still dark. Su Yiyen took the initiative to step forward and asked with a smile, "Where are my sugar figurines?" Hua Chenhuan took the woman's sugar figurine out, but Su Yiyen waved her hand and took the man's sugar figurine. This master's skills are not bad. The sugar figurines that he drew are similar to the two of us. Although Hua Chenhuan agreed with Su Yiyen's words, she was still sulking and did not say anything. Su Yiyen was annoyed and amused at the same time. She helplessly coaxed, "All right, don't be angry." I didn't even care about that woman's confession to you. A woman confessed to me. Su Yiyan was stunned and didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Didn't a woman hand you a lantern just now? Isn't that a confession? Hu Chenhuan furrowed his brows and said with disdain, I ignored her. I ignored them just now as well. Look, I even showed off our wedding rings. Su Yiyan even waved her hand to let him see the diamond ring on her finger. Then, as if she thought of something, she pouted and muttered, You should also show off our wedding rings just now and let that woman know how difficult it is and back off. Su Yiyan saw that her husband had asked the sugar figurine master to make 2 sugar figurines, one male and one female. She didn't believe that woman couldn't guess that Hu Chenhuan was already taken. Chapter 636. She knew that he had someone, but she still came up to him and confessed with a shy and timid face. She was most familiar with this kind of white lotus. Hu Chenhuan looked at Su Yiyan's burning eyes, and the anger in his heart miraculously subsided a lot. He asked, Are you jealous? So what? Su Yiyan glared at Hu Chenhuan fiercely, showing her steel teeth and threatening, You attract bees and butterflies. Next time, I will, what will you do? I will lock you up and not let anyone see you. Hu Chenhuan's eyes flashed and disappeared. Okay. Su Yiyan was stunned. What? I'm fine. Hu Chenhuan approached Su Yiyan and held her in his arms. He lowered his head and pressed against her forehead, making it impossible for her to escape. If something like this happens again, you will lock me up and not let anyone see me. On the other hand, if something like this happens again, I will also hide you and not let anyone covet you. Su Yiyan looked at his serious eyes in a daze. Her intuition told her that he was not joking. He really wanted to hide her. Su Yiyan's face suddenly turned red. She lowered her eyes and avoided Hu Chenhuan's eyes, not daring to look at him. She missed the dangerous look on Hu Chenhuan's face as he asked, Are you scared? Who's afraid of who? It's settled. If something like this happens again, I will lock you up. Su Yiyan was ambitious. She felt that compared to her, Hu Chenhuan was more likely to be coveted. If Hu Chenhuan was not afraid, what was there for her to be afraid of? Hu Chenhuan showed a smile again. Okay. Su Yiyan, who didn't realize that he had fallen into a wolf's den, took a deep breath. While eating the candy, he smiled faintly and said, Let's not talk about this. I just heard the sound of fireworks. Let's hurry over. We won't be able to see it if we're late. Su Yiyan pulled Hu Chenhuan and walked forward. The place where the fireworks were set off was not far from the lantern fair. However, the positions closer to the fireworks had long been occupied by the foreigners who came to join in the fun. Even if they went there now, it would be useless. They could not squeeze to the front. Su Yiyan brought Hu Chenhuan to the other side of the hill. This was the place she and old Master Cheng had accidentally discovered. Not only could they see the fireworks from here, but there were also stone stools on the mountain path that could accommodate 2 people. This place has a good view, right? Not only can you see the fireworks, but when the fireworks show ends, you can also see the stars. I was the one who discovered it. If Su Yiyan had a tail, it would probably be wagging. This place is great. Su Yiyan smiled contentedly. She leaned on Hu Chenhuan's shoulder and focused on watching the fireworks. When they came up, the fireworks had already been set off for a while. Fortunately, the truly beautiful fireworks had only just started. Other than the most common flower-shaped fireworks, there were also tree-shaped ones, waterfalls, and even 1 or 2 animal-shaped fireworks. There was everything that one could think of. It was too beautiful to behold. The fireworks went on for about half an hour before it stopped. When the entire fireworks show ended, it was only a little over 9 o'clock. The two of them didn't want to go back so early, so they sat on the stone stools and looked at the stars for a while. Su Yiyen leaned on Hua Qinhuan's shoulder and looked at the twinkling stars in the night sky. She couldn't help but reminisce. In the past, every time I went out to look at the stars with Grandpa, he would always follow me. Every star we went up to was a person who had already passed away. My grandparents and grandmother are all watching me from above. If I'm not doing well, they'll be sad too. Chapter 637. After finishing her words, Su Yiyen keenly felt the change in Hua Qinhuan's expression. His originally soft face became stiff for a moment. Silence spread between the two. After a long time, Su Yiyen heard the person beside her reply in a hoarse voice, "You're right." Su Yiyen smiled slightly and took the initiative to hold Hua Qinhuan's slightly cold hand. She asked tentatively, "Do you believe in reincarnation?" "I didn't before, but for you, I'm willing to believe." Su Yiyen's heart trembled. For a moment, she almost thought that Hua Qinhuan knew everything. Why? This lifetime is too short. I still want to be with you in the next lifetime. Su Yiyen breathed a sigh of relief and felt funny at the same time. You haven't spent much in this lifetime, but you're thinking about the next lifetime. I'm not only thinking about the next lifetime, but also about many lifetimes in the future. According to your method, won't I hang myself on your tree for all my lifetimes? Hua Qinhuan's tone was a little dangerous. If you don't hang yourself on my tree, which tree do you want to hang yourself on? Su Yiyen curled her lips and did not intend to answer this question. In fact, I've always been curious. What? Why did you fall in love with me? Hua Qinhuan was stunned and looked at Su Yiyen with a little surprise. Don't you remember? He had always thought that the reason why Su Yiyen suddenly wanted to marry him when they broke off the engagement was that she remembered Vianchu. Now it seemed that it was not. Su Yiyen was also confused. Remember? Remember what? She had always thought that Hua Qinhuan's love for her in the early days should be one-sided peeping and secret love. Now, listening to his words, it seemed that they had crossed paths before, and this intersection was many years ago. Did I meet Hua Qinhuan at that time? How did they meet? What happened? Su Yiyen couldn't recall what had happened at that time, and he was extremely curious. However, at this moment, Hua Qinhuan turned around and held Su Yiyen's hand. His large palm effortlessly wrapped around Su Yiyen's hand, which was one size larger than his. He smiled faintly and said, "Wait until you remember." It didn't matter. No matter what the reason was, she was already his. She couldn't run away. Hua Qinhuan, on the other hand, did not take it too seriously. Su Yiyen, on the other hand, was extremely curious and looked at him pitifully. However, this time, Hua Qinhuan seemed determined to make her remember by herself. She turned a blind eye to Su Yiyen's pleas. Su Yiyen was a little disappointed that this trick didn't work. She secretly planned to go back and ask her mother. Maybe she could find some clues. The night before, they watched the fireworks and stars a little late. The next day, Su Yiyen also woke up a little late. When she came out, she saw that the few old grandpas who came to their house yesterday were really here today. They were all fishing with old Master Ching in the backyard. Old Master Cheng's face was dark and he didn't say a word. Grandpa Li, on the other hand, kept teasing him. "Old man, why are you so narrow-minded? Didn't I say a few words that you didn't want to hear? You actually blacklisted me. Hurry up and add me back. Hurry up and add me back." Old Master Ching glared at him, his face full of displeasure. "You want me to add you back? Do you think I don't care about my face?" Pfft. Su Yiyan and Hu Chenhuan had just walked into the backyard when they heard this. They couldn't help but burst out laughing. Chapter 638. Grandpa Li didn't notice them. Grandpa Cheng's words made him uncomfortable. He muttered, "I've already humbled myself and followed you around. Don't you have enough face for me?" Grandpa Cheng couldn't help but glare at him again. He waved his hand like he was driving a duck and waved him away. Go, 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 go. I'm fishing and you're nagging on the side. You're scaring away my fish. Grandpa Li felt wronged and depressed. He said, "With your skills, even if I wasn't here, you still wouldn't be able to catch anything. You still have the nerve to push the blame to me." Grandpa Chang's face darkened. You what? I didn't do anything. For the sake of better freeloading in the future, he endured it. Su Yiyan watched them bicker with relish before walking over with Hu Chenhuan. Grandpa, Grandpa Li, Grandpa Zhang, Grandpa Deng, Grandpa Fan, are you fishing? Yan Yan is here. When they saw Su Yiyan, they immediately put on smiles and looked at Su Yiyan with amiable eyes. This is Yan Yan's girl, right? Yesterday, they came and went in a hurry, so they didn't pay much attention to Hu Chenhuan, who came back with Su Yiyan. Now that they saw Hu Chenhuan and Su Yiyan appear together, they couldn't pretend that they didn't see anything. He's really good-looking and tall. Yan Yan and him look like a good match. What does this guy's family do? Yan Yan's grandmother used to be a famous beauty in our area. Among her generation, Yan Yan looks the most like her. Many boys around here like her. It's your blessing to be able to marry her. You have to cherish her. Do we need you to do that? Among us, old man Ching is the most protective. You better behave yourself. If you dare to let Yan Yan down, old man Ching will skin you alive. Hu Chenhuan listened to the joking warnings of the old men. She knew that these people had a good relationship with old Master Ching. They had probably watched Su Yiyan grow up, so their warnings might not be a joke. He said good-naturedly, "Grandpas, don't worry. I know how good Yan Yan is. I won't let anyone bully her." Hu Chenhuan's submissive attitude in front of her elders made Su Yiyan feel pity for her. She hastily defended her and said, "Grandpa Deng, don't be blind. My grandfather is not that fierce. My Chenhuan is honest. Don't bully him." If these words were heard by Hu Chenhuan's subordinates, they would probably be taken aback. Their boss, young master, was honest. If he was honest, there would be no dishonest person in this world. Old man Ching isn't fierce. Grandpa Li was stunned for a moment. Then, he said mercilessly, "Ha ha ha ha, that's probably the biggest joke I've heard this year." Old man Ching was so angry that he hit him with his fishing rod. "Of course I'm not fierce in front of Yan Yan. Don't you know why I'm fierce to you? If it were me, with your shameless temper, I'd only be fierce to you. I'm already being extremely benevolent by not hitting you." Grandpa Li, who had already been hit by the rod, was speechless. "You've already hit me. Are you trying to lie through your teeth by not hitting me?" The other grandpas ignored the two old men's bickering. Instead, they teased Su Yiyan. "TSK, TSK, TSK. Look at Yan Yan. He's helping an outsider. I only said a few words, and he's already defending her. Isn't that right? Why else would a son not listen to his mother when he's old? Poor old men like us. We're always thinking about our seniors, but we're still being despised." Sigh. Chapter 639. Su Yiyan blushed at their teasing. She wanted to retort, but she didn't know what to say. Hu Chenhuan smiled and held Su Yiyan's hand tightly. Yan Yan didn't mean that. She just doesn't like the fact that you're treating her like a child. You don't believe in her choice and judgment. Su Yiyen was stunned. She quickly gave Hua Chenhuan a way out. Yes, I'm not a child anymore. Grandpa Deng, Grandpa Zhang, don't treat me like a child. Okay. Our Yan Yan is a big girl now. She's not a child anymore. Even so, they still spoke in a coaxing tone. Su Yiyen didn't argue with them. She walked around the pond and asked, "Did you guys catch any fish today?" Grandpa Fan said happily, yes. Yan Yan, come to Grandpa Fan. Grandpa Fan caught a big fish today. Grandpa Deng didn't want to be outdone. How is your fish big? Mine is really big. It's at least 4 or 5 pounds. Su Yiyen rushed over to take a look. Sure enough, there was a fish in each of their buckets. Grandpa Deng's was slightly bigger. Grandpa Fan's was a little bigger, but it was still about 3 or 4 pounds. As for the others, Grandpa Chang's face turned red. He straightened his neck and said, I also caught a fish today. Su Yiyen's eyes lit up. Really? Where is it? It's here. Old Master Ching pointed at his bucket weakly. Su Yiyen took a closer look. She saw a fingernail-sized fry lying in the dark blue bucket. Ha. Before Su Yiyen could say anything, Grandpa Li couldn't help but laugh. You're just a fry. You're not embarrassed to say you caught a fish. Why don't you just set it free? It'll be worth it if I catch it when it's bigger. Old Master Ching was humiliated by Grandpa Li. His face was as dark as the bottom of a pot. He retorted mercilessly, no matter what, it's better than someone who didn't catch a single one. Come on, let's hurt each other. Sure enough, when Grandpa Li heard his words, he immediately covered his pierced heart and shut his mouth. When old Master Ching saw that Grandpa Li was speechless, the corners of his lips curled up and quickly straightened. He stared at the fry in the bucket gloomily. Hua Chenhuan could tell that the old man was unhappy. She rolled her eyes and suddenly asked, Yan Yan, didn't you want to get another pet? Su Yiyen seemed to have woken up from a dream. She hurriedly nodded and said, Oh, yes, I want to raise another pet. This fish that Grandpa caught is really beautiful. It's bright red and golden, just like a koi. Why don't I just take it back and raise it as a pet? Once it grew up, it could also be eaten, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. The grandpas on the side were speechless. What the f***ck? Grandpa Li was also stunned. When he came back to his senses, he was as sour as a lemon. Look at Grandpa Li's granddaughter and son-in-law, then look at his own unfilial sons and grandsons. The father and son of the Li family, whose reputation was ruined every day, sneered. Who's talking bad about us behind our backs again? Old Master Ching didn't expect that the person who helped him out in the end would be Hua Chenhuan. He raised his eyebrows and gave her a look of praise. Hua Chenhuan replied with a polite smile, concealing his achievements and fame. Chapter 640. Since Yan Yan likes it, let's find a water tank and put the fish in the yard. Okay. Su Yiyen nodded. Then she seemed to think of something. Her eyes turned and fell precisely on the 2 fish in the 2 grandfathers' buckets. Grandpa Deng and Grandpa Fan's fish are quite big. Why don't we have some boiled fish for lunch? I couldn't treat you grandfathers to a meal yesterday, so I can make up for it today. I just don't know if you grandfathers would be willing to do me the honor. As soon as Su Yiyen said this, their eyes lit up. We're willing. Anyway, we have nothing to do, so we can take advantage of this opportunity to gather. Yes. It's rare for Yan Yan to come back. How can we not do him the honor? We can take advantage of this opportunity to taste Yan Yan's cooking. You don't know how good your cooking skills are these few months that old man Cheng has been talking to us about. It has made us old men drool. That's right, that's right. This rotten old man is very bad. He knows that we can't eat it, but he still deliberately wants us to eat it. Su Yiyen listened to their complaints about her grandfather and couldn't help but laugh. Then these 2 fish were bought by me and the 2 grandfathers. By what? As soon as she finished speaking, Grandpa Ching interrupted her with dissatisfaction. It's just 2 fish. They're eating and drinking for free in our family. How can they have the nerve to ask you for money? Su Yiyen disagreed and called out to him. Grandpa Dang and Grandpa Fan agreed with Grandpa Chang's words. The fish looked rare, but even if they brought it home, the kitchen staff at home might not be able to make it as delicious as Su Yiyen's. In this way, they were the ones who had the advantage. Old man Cheng is right. These fish were caught in your backyard. It's your family's fish. The 2 of us old men aren't down to the point where we have to haggle with someone of your generation for 2 fish. Besides, we have big appetites. These 2 fish may not be enough for us. It looks like we're the ones who have the advantage. Since they were already like this, Su Yiyen could no longer insist. Old Master Ching glanced at the 2 of them with appreciation. At least he didn't mind them coming over to freeload. Then, he turned his gaze to Grandpa Li and said meaningfully, "As for you." Although he didn't finish his words, his eyes were clearly mocking him. At least he contributed 2 fish. What about you? He was just a freeloader. Grandpa Li's heart was pierced by an arrow once again. Heart, do you think I care about your free food? It's all because your granddaughter's culinary skills are too good. After trying it once, everything else is tasteless. Moreover, other than Old Man Fan and Old Man Fan, he wasn't the only one who didn't contribute. How could they pick on him alone? They were really going too far. Grandpa Li's heart was full of anger, but he couldn't say anything because he was in the wrong. He could only sulk alone. Grandpa Dang and Grandpa Fan, who had made some basic contributions, became more confident and asked Su Yiyen about the spicy boiled fish just now. Yan Yan, was your spicy boiled fish good? Was it steamed, braised, or made into soup? Was it as good as the braised food you made yesterday? Grandpa Fan couldn't help but swallow. Yan Yan, the braised food you made yesterday was really good. My eldest son's grandson usually has to be forced to eat. Last night, with the braised food, he actually drank an extra bowl of porridge. He didn't even need to be forced to eat. Chapter 641. Yes. Yesterday, when I took it home, my family immediately chased after me to fight for it. If I hadn't acted fast, I'm afraid they wouldn't have left a single piece of it for me. When Grandpa Li heard Grandpa Dang's words, he immediately thought of himself who had fought with his son and grandson yesterday. Alas, in front of delicious food, this plastic grandfather-grandson relationship and plastic father-son relationship. Although the braised food is delicious, it's easy to get heaty if you eat too much. Boiled fish isn't steamed or braised. Although there's some soup, it can also be eaten with rice. Compared to the braised food, each has its own merits. Everyone has different tastes, so naturally, the dishes they like are different. I'll cook more dishes later. More dishes, more choices. They didn't have many requirements for what to eat, as long as it was delicious. Hearing Su Yiyen's words, he smiled and nodded. Okay. Then, we'll have to trouble you, Yan Yan. We're fine with anything. We're not picky. Old Master Chang's eyebrows twitched. You still have the nerve to be picky. boiled fish had a lot of processes. In order to make it in time for lunch, Su Yiyan immediately took the 2 fish and left. When he entered the kitchen, he found that Hu Chenhuan had followed him in. "Why did you come in? I'll be your assistant." "You?" Su Yiyan stared at him in surprise for a long time, as if she wanted to see a trace of a joke from his face. Unfortunately, she was disappointed. Hu Chenhuan was very serious. He didn't seem to be joking at all. "I have to take care of you before." He really didn't know how to cook, but he could help. Su Yiyan understood what he meant. Amused, she felt a little warm. Thinking that she didn't plan to broadcast these days, it wasn't a big deal to have one more person to help in the kitchen, but Su Yiyan looked up and down at Hu Chenhuan. This person probably hadn't even entered the kitchen a few times. He hadn't even touched anything. He really didn't do anything. It was okay to let him help you manage the company and talk about cooperation, but to let him help you cook, Su Yiyan weighed the pros and cons and chose the simplest thing for him. "Help me wash some rice. It's in the rice vat over there. There are a lot of people today, so we have to cook more. That box inside, 4 boxes should be enough." Hu Chenhuan accepted the task and nodded solemnly. She picked up the pot and walked towards the rice vat. Su Yiyan felt that washing the rice should be a simple task, so he didn't care too much and began to kill the fish. With the enhancement of his knife skills, Su Yiyan quickly removed the scales and cut open the belly of the 2 fishes. However, he found that there was no movement behind him. He turned around and saw Hu Chenhuan standing in front of the faucet with a big pot of rice. She was about to squeeze some detergent into it. "Wait!" Su Yiyan exclaimed and pulled Hu Chenhuan back before she could squeeze the detergent into the pot. "Ha!" Hu Chenhuan was shocked by Su Yiyan's shout. Her face was blank. Su Yiyan took a deep breath and felt that his heart was about to jump out. Rice can't be washed with detergent. Just wash it with water 3 or 4 times to get rid of the dregs inside. Hu Chenhuan was silent for a while and was a little worried. "Can it be washed clean like this?" Yes. The rice isn't dirty. Washing it a few times is enough." Since Su Yiyan had already said so, Hu Chenhuan didn't continue to argue. She carefully added water and began to rub the rice. Looking at how serious he was, he probably had to rub half of the rice before he could cook it. Su Yiyan. Forget it. It's rare for him to be in such a good mood. He can wash it however he wants. Chapter 642. Su Yiyan's eyes were full of smiles as she watched a certain someone's clumsy action of washing the rice. With this lesson in mind, Su Yiyan did not dare to give Hu Chenhuan any complicated tasks. She forced him to wash the vegetables in the kitchen for the whole morning. Su Yiyan observed Hu Chenhuan's movements while cutting the 2 fish into even thin slices. It was not that Hu Chenhuan had never seen Su Yiyan display her knife skills in the live broadcast room, but watching through the screen and watching it live felt different. Moreover, Su Yiyan would usually prepare the ingredients in advance before starting the live broadcast. There were not many opportunities to watch her display her knife skills in the live broadcast room. Now that she saw it, she was a little stunned. Su Yiyan finally finished the several kilograms of fish slices. She turned her head to look at Hu Chenhuan worriedly. She was caught off guard by the other party's surprised gaze. "What's wrong? Why are you looking at me like that?" Even though Hu Chenhuan was caught peeking, a look of embarrassment and guilt flashed across his face. "Nothing. Is there anything else I can help you with? You finished washing the vegetables?" Su Yiyan leaned over to take a look at the various vegetables that were not only washed but also neatly folded. TSK, this outstanding person really learned everything quickly. She was clearly worried about the pot of rice just a moment ago, but she was already proficient in it. There's nothing else for the time being. If you're bored, you can go out first. You can walk around, or you can go to Grandpa's place to watch them fish. Hui Chenwan said without thinking, I want to watch you cook. Su Yiyen was stunned and blushed slightly. There's a lot of smoke in the kitchen. I'm far away, but you're close. The underlying meaning was that she was not afraid even though she was so close. She was just standing on the side and watching. How could she be worse than her? All right then, Hui Chenwan insisted, and Su Yiyen did not continue to persuade her. Before cooking the spicy boiled fish, Su Yiyen took out the fish fillet and deep-fried it as usual. After that, he cooked the fish fillets and various vegetables until it was fragrant. Among the two fish, one of them had a particularly large head. Su Yiyen seemed to think for a while as he processed the fish. In the end, he decided to leave the head of this fish alone to make steamed fish head with diced hot red peppers. Boiled fish and braised fish were both relatively heaty dishes. Su Yiyen was worried that the elderly wouldn't know how to control themselves after eating for the first time and would easily get heaty, so he stewed a pot of dendrobium stewed fresh abalone and boiled some Ophiophagon bamboo leaf tea to reduce heatiness. Considering that there were more people eating at home today, Su Yiyen's dishes were much more sumptuous than yesterday's. Other than the steamed fish head with diced hot red peppers, spicy boiled fish, and braised fish, he also made some relatively light dishes like tofu tossed with scallions, moose shoe pork, dry stir-fried green beans, and wine-fermented meatballs. Bursts of delicious food drifted out of the kitchen, attracting the stomachs of the elderly who were pretending to continue fishing in the backyard. They became more and more absent-minded. When it was finally time for lunch, the sound of shouting came from the front. The few of them immediately threw away the fishing rods in their hands and rushed forward. They were afraid that if they fell behind, they would not be able to eat good food. As soon as the few of them sat down, dishes that they had never seen before came out of the kitchen like flowing water. They were placed in front of them, exuding a strong aroma. Gulp, the few elderly who did not eat much in the morning could not help but swallow their saliva. When they realized what they had done, they subconsciously looked at the few people beside them with embarrassed expressions. Chapter 643. This was the scene that Su Yiyen and Hui Chenwan saw when they came out of the kitchen. A few old people, whose ages added up to a few hundred years old, surrounded a large table of dishes and looked at each other in dismay. Without the two of them present, no one dared to be the first to pick up their chopsticks. Their eager looks looked a little pitiful. Su Yiyen laughed and turned to look at Hui Chenwan. Then, she quickly walked to old Master Chang's side. Grandpa, everyone is here. It's time to eat. Old Master Chang was slightly startled. He knew that his granddaughter was giving him face and letting him be the host. He immediately straightened his back and coughed lightly. All right, since everyone is here, let's eat while it's hot. How could the others not understand the grandfather and granddaughter's actions? They couldn't help but feel sour in their hearts. But soon, they weren't in the mood to admire the excellence of other people's children. The large table of dishes in front of them had already attracted all their attention. Although Su Yiyen made a lot of dishes, there were also many people eating together today. At first, they were still thinking about their status as guests and didn't dare to be too presumptuous. Later, as they ate, they revealed their true colors and started arguing with old Master Ching at the table. Like children, after quarreling for a while, they began to snatch each other's food. If you snatch one from me, I'll snatch one from you. Su Yiyen's dishes were already delicious. After fighting with all their might, the few people who ate the food were flushed red and almost caused a scene in the martial arts school. Su Yiyen seemed to be used to this. She pulled Hui Chenwan to sit at the side and watched the scuffle while adding food for Hui Chenwan. Try this spicy boiled fish. The meat is fresh and there are fewer bones. It's better than the ones we've eaten before. It's not good to eat the same thing all the time. Next time, I'll get someone to make some pickled vegetables. It's also pretty good to make spicy boiled fish. Su Yiyen thought for a while. Or we can make spicy boiled fish, sweet and sour fish, fish hot pot. Anyway, even if it's the same ingredients, there are many ways to cook them. We'll eat them one by one and see which one you like. Hu Chenwan replied in a low voice. She then pursed her lips and whispered, "Lobster." Lobster. Su Yiyen was stunned for a moment, but she quickly realized that he was asking about other ways to make lobsters. She smiled faintly and said, "There are many ways to make lobsters. Other than the spicy lobster that I've made for you a few times before, you can also make 13-spice lobster, minced garlic lobster, steamed lobster, and oil stick lobster. If you're curious, I can also try making drunken prawns, soy sauce prawns." Su Yiyen was busy explaining the 108 ways to cook lobsters to her man. However, she saw him looking at her with a subtle expression and giving her a meaningful look. Su Yiyen blinked and turned his head to look. Suddenly, he met the bright eyes of the people at the table. "So that ugly lobster can be cooked in so many ways. My family's chef only knows how to boil it in water and then scoop it up. Although it's still edible, it always feels like something is missing." Yes, yes, yes. It's the same for my family. I've only eaten it once and haven't eaten it since. Now that I heard what Yan Yan said, I suddenly want to eat it. How about, they looked at each other and said in unison, "Let's eat this tomorrow." Su Yiyen. You guys are really not polite at all. Old Master Chang's face darkened. Eat what? Do you really think my family's Yan Yan is your family's chef? Just this meal. After eating, scram. If you dare to have any ideas about my family's Yan Yan again, I'll hammer you to death. Chapter 644. The others weren't happy to hear that. Old Man Ching, that's too much. How could we possibly think of Yan Yan as a cook? We're just curious. We're curious about the food Yan Yan ate just now. Yes, yes, yes. We're just curious, that's all. Grandpa Li wasn't as reserved as the others. He immediately exposed Old Man Chang's intentions. Don't think I don't know. You're acting all high and mighty because you want to eat all the food for yourself. So what if I eat all the food for myself? Yan Yan is my granddaughter, not yours. Why should she cook for you? Old Man Chang, I knew you were angry, but I didn't expect you to be this angry. The elders instantly started fighting again. Su Yiyen managed to escape. She exchanged a look with Hu Chenwan and heaved a huge sigh of relief. Although they were arguing, they didn't slow down their eating speed at all. In less than half an hour, the table's worth of food was all in their stomachs. They were so full that the elders in their 70s and 80s had to help each other out for a walk to digest the food. That night, Grandpa Li's son came home and looked at his father with a complicated expression. He asked tentatively, "Dad, did you stay at Uncle Chang's for lunch today?" Grandpa Li raised his eyebrows and said fiercely, "So what if I did? Do I have to report to you that I'm going to eat at someone else's house?" "That's not what I meant." Grandpa Li glared at him. "Then what do you mean?" "I just want to ask if you can bring me along the next time you go." Grandpa Li. Grandpa Li's eldest grandson's eyes lit up when he heard his father's words. Unwilling to be outdone, he said, I wanted to. Bring me along too." Grandpa Li. Your father, grandfather, had to give up his pride and put in a lot of effort just to get a free meal. How could he bring along a bunch of useless burdens like you? Dream on. Get lost. The same thing was happening in the other grandfathers' homes as well, almost leading to the tragedy of a few of them being murdered. After the Pinxi incident that day, He restaurant went to Su Yiyan 2 or 3 more times. Almost all of them were asking for cooperation. Of course, they were ignored by Su Yiyan. Apart from that, the Ancient Earth Cultural Research Institute also tried to send Su Yiyan a private message. They wanted to discuss cultural matters with her, but Su Yiyan declined. She was very clear about her own abilities. Most of the skills that the system gave her were in the field of medicine, and these ancient books were just incidental. If she were to really communicate with these professionals, she was afraid that she would be showing off her skills in front of an expert. However, their search reminded Su Yiyan of another matter. After Luo Baoging took over Red Brave, the production crew had already started working overtime to prepare the props and audition for the actors. At this stage, in Su Yiyan's company, only Ning Chiroe had unexpectedly won the role of the second male lead. The other main roles were still vacant for the time being. Especially the male and female lead roles. Xue Kaiwei and Luo Weibing had already booked the male and female lead roles in Fantasy Feast, so it was impossible for them to take on this role. It was not that there were no talents in this field in the company, but there were not many of them. She did not know who would benefit in the end. However, no matter who was chosen in the end, according to Luo Baoging and his wife, it was best for the female lead to learn the basics from Madame Luo for a few months before filming the parts that involved professional skills. Chapter 645. Of course, that was not the case. In the next few months, the crew would simply stop filming and wait for her to finish learning. Instead, they would move all the professional drama-related scenes to the back and let the female lead film other scenes first. She would learn as she filmed. But this meant that she would be very busy and tired in the next few months. At the very least, they had to choose a talented talent who was hardworking, could endure hardships, and had acting skills. Su Yiyan could not help with Luo Baoging, but Su Yiyan still had a professional drama book that she had previously drawn. However, although she had drawn this book, it was something provided by the system and could not be taken out directly from the system backpack. Su Yiyan had no choice but to spend a few days copying the contents of the book and sending it to Song Linghua. To the outside world, it was only a copy of the book that was treasured at home. It was not easy to take it out, so she could only make a copy for her. Even so, Song Linghua was very surprised when she received it. She secretly rejoiced that she had accepted the role of consultant for the crew. Otherwise, such a priceless treasure would have fallen into someone else's hands. Song Linghua was not someone who did not know how to return the favor. After taking Su Yiyan's book, she immediately said that when the female lead was decided, she would teach her well and would not let down the book. Su Yiyan and Song Linghua stayed in the Qing family for about a week before Old Master Jiang brought Jiang Qingwang and Jiang Qingrun over. It just so happened that Old Master Jiang's friend's residence was not far from the Qing family's residence. They could reach it in about half an hour by car. Considering that there was a pregnant woman at home, it was not convenient for the Jiang family to come over. Su Yiyan simply set the treatment location at the house where the Jiang family was temporarily staying. If Su Yiyan wanted to go, Hu Qinhuan naturally had to follow. After all, a certain brat had previously wanted to give his life to Su Yiyan in front of them. If he did not go with them, what if his wife was bullied there? When Su Yiyan and Ran arrived, the first person who ran out to greet them was a 15 or 16-year-old brother with a young and delicate face. At first, Su Yiyan thought that he was Old Master Jiang's friend, the child of the real owner of the house, or a relative of the Jiang family. Then, the child reached out and touched his own hair, looking at Su Yiyan as if he was asking for credit. You! Su Yiyan's mind flashed, and he pointed at the person in front of him in surprise. Hee, don't you recognize me? I'm the one from last time. That green-haired guy from last time. Su Yiyen silently accepted the child's words in his heart. He looked at him from top to bottom and carefully sized him up. Not only had this child dyed his hair back, but his hairstyle had also changed. It was no longer the blunt hairstyle that he had seen the last time. Instead, it had been cut diagonally in front of his head, making him look fashionable and bright. Without the smoky makeup, her facial features looked a little immature, but she had the advantage of being delicate and upright. The most important thing was that this child's skin was white, the kind that girls would be jealous of. Coupled with the white shirt and black pants, he did not look like the arrogant and heroic young man from before. He looked like a good boy with a white face. How did you? The impact of a non-mainstream and rebellious young man suddenly becoming sunny and fresh was so great that Su Yiyen did not react for a long time. Hua Chenhuan's face darkened. His intuition told him that this idiotic bastard was deliberately pretending to be obedient to attract his wife's attention. Chapter 646. Without the smoky makeup covering his face, Jiang Qingwang seemed to be a little shy. When Su Yiyen looked at him like that, his face instantly turned red. And because his face was pale, his entire face couldn't escape the redness. In the blink of an eye, his entire face turned red. It was very obvious. Didn't you tell me that my hair was too ugly and that I dyed it back? I dyed it back. But after I dyed it back, it looked very strange with my original clothes, so I changed it into this look. Upon hearing that, Su Yiyen walked around Jiang Qingwang in a circle and clicked her tongue in wonder. It seems that my aesthetic standards are still normal. Look at you. You've only changed your hairstyle and clothes, but your entire appearance has changed. With your current appearance, you'll definitely attract a lot of attention when you go to school, right? If you changed back to your previous appearance, it would be good enough if girls didn't avoid you, let alone take a few more glances at you. When Jiang Qingwang heard Su Yiyen's teasing, his already red face turned even redder, like a tomato that could burn at any time. Su Yiyen looked at him curiously and blankly. Why are you blushing? I'm like this. I blush easily. After that, Jiang Qingwang glanced at Hua Chenhuan and added with a strong desire to survive, I'm like this to everyone, not just you. Little did he know that his glance had a completely different meaning in Hua Chenhuan's eyes. As expected, this bastard had ulterior motives for his wife. He dared to be so coy and scheming in front of him. How bold. But last time you... Su Yiyen originally thought, you weren't so shy last time. You were very bold when you bared your fangs and brandished your claws. But then she remembered that when Jiang Qingwang went to their house last time, the makeup on his face was so thick that she could dig out 1/2 kilogram of white flour. But although the makeup was thick, Su Yiyen still had a deep impression of his Chinibu appearance when he wasn't wearing it. Could it be, don't tell me you're so shy that you purposely put on that non-mainstream look so that people won't notice your pretty face? Jiang Qingwang was exposed. His whole body stiffened for a moment, but he still admitted to Su Yiyen's method and tried to save his dignity. Don't you think that, it's very cool? I don't think so. Su Yiyen was not stupid. She had already guessed the truth from Jiang Qingwang's guilty and evasive gaze. He secretly sighed in his heart. Sure enough, you can't judge a book by its cover. This white lotus may be hiding a scheming B*TCH under her skin. Similarly, some fiendish delinquents may also be a real white rabbit under their skin. When Hua Chenhuan heard this, she could not help but cough softly. She interrupted the conversation between the two and reminded, Yen, old Master Jiang and Sister Jiang are still waiting inside. Let's go in first. After being reminded by him, Su Yiyen also remembered the important matter. She temporarily suppressed her curiosity about Rao and nodded. "Oh, right, we're here to look for your sister." Jiang Qingwang saw that Su Yiyen did not continue to stare at him. He breathed a sigh of relief and said, "Grandpa and my sister have been waiting for you inside for a long time. Please." Su Yiyen nodded and pulled Hu Qinhuan inside. When Hu Qinhuan passed by Jiang Qingwang, she coldly glanced at him, full of warning. Jiang Qingwang. What was going on? Old Master Jiang was indeed waiting for the two inside. When he saw the two enter, his eyes lit up. He was about to approach them when he saw the two of them. But then, he saw the cold face of the son of an aristocratic family. What was going on? His face was so ugly. Could it be that his unfilial grandson had caused trouble again? Jiang Qingwang. He was wronged. Chapter 647. Su Yiyen didn't notice the brief confrontation between the men. Her attention had been on Jiang Qingrun since she entered the room. "How are you feeling recently?" "Pretty good." Jiang Qingrun seemed to be a little fatter than before, and her face was ruddy. In addition to the medicinal cuisine sent by Su Yiyen, it should also be because she saw the hope of recovery and her mood improved. "It's just a little sore occasionally. It's not very painful, just a little. I don't want to get up." With Hu Qinhuan's experience, Su Yiyen could probably understand what she meant. She smiled and comforted her. "This is normal. Your muscles are slowly recovering and you have feeling. This process may take some time. You have to take it slowly." "I know." Jiang Qingruan's eyes were very bright. Compared with her previous ignorance, she preferred this kind of pain. This kind of feeling made her feel that she was still alive, not a disabled waste who couldn't do anything or feel anything. "I'll give you another acupuncture today. Do you still have the medicine packs I gave you before?" "It's best not to stop the medicinal bath. It's fixed once a week. When your symptoms are better, you can stop. There are still a few packs. 1 pack a week should be enough for another month." "That's good." Su Yiyen asked Jiang Qingrun some other questions. Then the two of them entered the room and treated her one-on-one. Hu Qinhuan and the Jiang family's grandfather and grandson were left outside. After a short silence, Hu Qinhuan broke the silence first. "Is this child of yours still studying?" Old Master Jiang was stunned. He really didn't understand why he asked this. He nodded stiffly. "Yes, she just went to high school." "High school?" Hu Qinhuan pondered. "It's a good time to study." Yes. At this stage, studying should be the priority. Don't always think about messy things to distract you. Old Master Jiang's eyes were confused. Messy things. Hu Qinhuan's eyes were slightly cold. For example, puppy love. Jiang Qingwang. Old Master Jiang. Puppy love. After a brief shock, Old Master Jiang raised his voice unconsciously. "You're in love at such a young age." Jiang Qingwang almost choked. "How is that possible? I've never held a girl's hand before. How could I be in a relationship at such a young age? Besides, I'm not in the mood to date right now." Old Master Jiang couldn't help but heave a sigh of relief. Indeed, his eldest granddaughter's leg hadn't even been cured yet, so how could his grandson be in the mood to engage in love? Hu Qinhuan's face darkened when she heard what he said. She looked even more dangerous. "You're not in the mood to date now, but you will be in the future." Jiang Qingwang thought to himself, "Nonsense, I don't want to be a single dog for the rest of my life. As long as my sister is well, I will definitely be in the mood to fall in love." Otherwise, am I going to be single for the rest of my life? However, when he saw Hua Qinhuan's inexplicably dangerous gaze, Jiang Qinhuang wisely chose to remain silent. Sob, 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 so scary. Is he asking me to choose between keeping my life and falling in love? What enmity! Did I provoke you by falling in love? However, old Master Jiang was a shrewd person. He quickly figured out the crux of the matter. He didn't know whether to laugh or cry. It's indeed wrong for a child to fall in love at such a young age. At your current age, studying is the most important thing. If you want to fall in love, you have to go back to school at least 10 years later. Chapter 648. 10 years later. Jiang Qinhuang was shocked. That was too long. Old Master Jiang narrowed his eyes and said with a fierce face, "What do you mean long? 10 years later is just right. You're not even fully grown yet you want to hook up with girls. If something really goes wrong, can you bear the responsibility? That's all I have to say today. If you dare to fall in love at such a young age or secretly mess with an adult girl's belly, I won't have a grandson like you. Pack up your things and get out of here." Jiang Qinhuang. Falling in love is like collapsing. Is it necessary? It's really too difficult for me. Old Master Jiang also knew that his words were a little harsh, but he also understood that this was the only way to eliminate someone's wariness of his grandson. After all, a man's possessiveness was sometimes quite a scary thing. My dear grandson, you can suffer a little and fall in love later. Grandpa is also trying to save your life. As expected, Hua Qinhuan nodded his head in satisfaction after hearing what he said. 10 years later, this guy wouldn't covet his wife anymore. Maybe his and his wife's baby would be able to come out on its own. Su Yiyan didn't know that while he was treating Jiang Qinhuan inside, Hua Qinhuan easily solved a fake love burden outside. The two stayed in the room for about an hour before coming out. Old Master Jiang wanted to invite Su Yiyan and Jiang Qinhuan to gather together. Hua Qinhuan refused without thinking and quickly left Ji Rao Villa with Su Yiyan. As soon as Su Yiyan went out, he noticed that something was wrong with him. He blinked and asked with confusion and concern, "What happened? Did they make you angry? When you came out just now, you kept staring at that bastard. When he came, he kept staring at him. When he left, he still stared at him." Hua Qinhuan's stomach was full of jealousy and jealousy. Bastard. Su Yiyan was stunned for a few seconds and didn't know whether to laugh or cry. You mean Jiang Qinhuang? Hua Qinhuan pursed her lips and said in a hoarse voice, "Last time, you looked at him because of his green hair." The underlying meaning was that he didn't have a head full of green hair today, so why was he still looking? The last time I saw him, it was indeed because of his green hair. Today, I thought it was magical at first. Hairstyles and makeup can really change a person. With such a big change, of course I couldn't help but take a few more glances. As for looking at him afterwards. Su Yiyan hugged Hua Qinhuan's arm and laughed. Do you think I can make money by signing him to East City? You want to sign him to your company? That's right. Don't you think he's pretty good looking? My company is currently in need of talents. Hua Qinhuan didn't wait for Su Yiyan to finish before interrupting her. It seems that you have quite a few artists in your company. Su Yiyan was stunned. She did not expect Hua Qinhuan to pay attention to this. Yes, there are quite a few. But it's too simplistic. Single. Yes, although there are many artists in my company, it's too simplistic. And most of them are in their early 20s, so the roles they take are limited. Like Luo Weibing, Ning Chirue, they are all okay now, but what about in 10 or 20 years? Su Yiyan paused here and sighed. Generations of people in the company walk their own path. The original position naturally needs to be replaced by generations of people. It's like a person who wants to live. It's useless to keep circulating without fresh blood. Chapter 649. The entertainment industry had always been a fast-changing industry. If there was a lack of new talent and cash flow problems, the company could declare bankruptcy. For this reason, Su Yiyen could only find more potential newcomers to ensure that the company could continue to improve. As the saying goes, learning is like sailing against the current. If you don't move forward, you'll fall behind. It was the same when it came to doing business. She didn't want the company that she was going to build to be a short-lived success in the entertainment industry. Su Yiyen was fine, but Hu Chenhuan's face darkened. It seemed that his potential love rivals were not only that brat, but also a male celebrity from a big company. Anyone who could become a celebrity, even if they did not have any other abilities, at least had to have a slightly better face. Hu Chenhuan was alarmed that his wife was surrounded by such a group of handsome men. Su Yiyen saw that Hu Chenhuan's face didn't turn better after he said that. Instead, it turned even uglier. He couldn't help but look a little confused. Did I do something wrong? No. Then why are you still unhappy? Hu Chenhuan was silent for a moment before he understood what he meant. Are you trying to coax me? Su Yiyen looked calm. You're unhappy. Of course, I have to coax you. Hu Chenhuan frowned. His intuition told him that something was wrong. Usually, it wasn't the man who coaxed the woman. Why was it the other way around? Su Yiyen was happy that Hu Chenhuan's attention was diverted. His face didn't look as ugly as before, but he still wanted to know why he was unhappy just now. But you have to tell me first. Why were you unhappy just now? Is it because I looked at Jiang Qingwang a few more times and you're worried that I'll fall for him? I'm not worried that you'll fall for him. Hu Chenhuan turned to look at Su Yiyen. He had never doubted Su Yiyen's feelings for him, but, I don't like you looking at him like that. It's not just him. I don't like you looking at other men besides me. Not even my father, my brother, my grandfather, and my uncle. Except for family. Okay. Su Yiyen breathed a sigh of relief and teased, then I won't look at other men anymore. I'll only look at you, okay? Hu Chenhuan's tense body relaxed a little. He asked in a hoarse voice, don't you think that I'm too nosy? If you don't care about me, I'll be worried. You're right. I didn't do this. Finding artists should be left to Brother Junxing and the others. Although I'm the boss of a company, I'm still considered an outsider. Whether or not they have potential, whether or not their looks pass the mark, and how they will be arranged in the future, we still have to bring them in to understand them personally. Su Yiyen looked into Hu Chenhuan's eyes and said, I will call Brother Junxing in a while and ask him to contact Jiang Qingwang. I just don't know what his intentions are. Also, I wonder if old Master Jiang will refuse to let him enter this circle. After all, the Jiang family was a rich family. They might not be willing to let a rich second-generation young master enter the entertainment circle and become a star. Hu Chenhuan knew that Su Yiyen was giving in for him. The unhappiness in his heart dissipated a lot. He muttered, if he's willing, the old master won't interfere. How can you be so sure? The Jiang family seems to have some wealth on the surface. In fact, old Master Jiang's son has been drinking outside these years. The woman he married later gave birth to a son, who stirred up trouble at home. Chapter 650. The current Jiang family seems to be well off, but in fact, it's weak on the inside. It won't be able to achieve anything. Only old Master Jiang can still say a few words in the Huo Corporation. Otherwise, this family would have been devoured by others long ago. Su Yiyen still didn't understand. But if that's the case, shouldn't old Master Jiang train this grandson well? Or does he prefer that woman's son? But after thinking about it carefully, she felt that it was unlikely. After all, the few times they met, old Master Jiang had brought the two siblings. Except for the neighbor once, he had never mentioned his son, the woman he married later, and their son. Thinking about it, he probably didn't like them very much. Huo Qinhuan frowned and said with disdain, "He's too much. Too much. That sister of his can be trained. If he can enter your company, it will be better." Huo Qinhuan seemed to be a little worried that Su Yiyen didn't understand, so she added, "Entering your company means that he is under my protection. The woman next to old Master Jiang's son has something to do with Huo Qihan." Something to do with Huo Qihan? Su Yiyen was shocked. "Do you mean that old Master Jiang's son supports Huo Qihan?" "Yes. If not for this, Huo Qinhuan wouldn't have approached old Master Jiang. With old Master Jiang around, no matter how his son was influenced by that woman, he wouldn't be able to set off any big waves." Su Yiyen also understood that the Jiang family's filial son was obviously not on the same side as old Master Jiang. If old Master Jiang really supported Huo Qinhuan, this piece of trash and the three stepmothers would ruthlessly control the Jiang siblings and threaten old Master Jiang to give in at the last minute. Jiang Qingran was fine. After all, she was a few years older. When her leg was cured, she would at least have the ability to protect herself. On the other hand, Jiang Qingwang looked stupid and was very easy to deceive. After figuring out the reason, Su Yiyen didn't continue to dwell on it. She called Xia Junqing to clarify the situation and gave him full authority to deal with it. As time passed, Huo Qinhuan's birthday approached. As early as half a month ago, Su Yiyen had been secretly preparing Huo Qinhuan's birthday gift when Zhang Boqi started this matter. However, it was not difficult to prepare a gift. The difficult part was how to give him a surprise on his birthday. For the past few days, Huo Qinhuan had been accompanying Su Yiyen and was inseparable from her. Su Yiyen could not think of a way to send her away, so she could only ask her uncle, Gu Xiaoyang, and the others for help. After some discussion, they decided to come up with a reason to call him out of his house. Coincidentally, Qin Shuiru was going to the hospital for a checkup. Qing Juanhao would definitely accompany her. After the couple arrived at the hospital, they simply called Huo Qinhuan and told him that there was no problem with their company and they urgently needed someone from their family to send a document over. The document was on the table in his room. He was now in the hospital with Qin Shuiru for a checkup and couldn't leave. Could he help to send it over? Huo Qinhuan was free at home, so he naturally wouldn't refuse such a request. He immediately took the document and went out. After arriving at the company, he was stopped by several senior executives who had been informed by Qing Juanhao. He couldn't go back for a while, so Su Yiyen had time to arrange. Considering that Huo Qinhuan might come back at any time and their time was limited, Su Yiyen entrusted the decoration of the house to Aunt Fong and several servants at home. She went into the kitchen and prepared to perform well. Chapter 651. As for what to eat on a birthday, it was nothing more than cake, longevity noodles, and other delicacies that were full of blessings. Considering that the cake would take a long time to bake, Huo Qinhuan hurried into the kitchen and turned on the one-way recording function of the live broadcast. Hello everyone, I'm the host, Yin Yin. Today is my husband's birthday, and I want to prepare a special surprise for him, so today I'm only recording and not broadcasting. In addition, after this recording is released, 3 lucky audience members will be selected in the comments section to give gifts. The lucky draw date will be tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Those who are interested can participate. Although there was no live broadcast, Su Yiyen tried to explain the ins and outs of the matter as much as possible. The difficulty of making a cake was how to make the cake embryo smoothly rise. Su Yiyen used low-gluten flour and mixed in eggs and baking powder. Su Yiyen wanted to make a 3-layer cake, so he simply made 3 molds and baked them together. Fortunately, the Qing family's oven was big enough, so it wasn't difficult to bake 3 molds at once. While baking the cake embryo, Su Yiyen didn't stay idle and began to make other food. Now, let's make the wife cake that I promised you before. The filling of the wife cake is winter melon. As the name suggests, winter melon is made from winter melon. Peel the winter melon, remove the seeds, steam it until it's cooked, then use a blender to beat it into a paste. After that, filter the water and add sugar to stir-fry. After stir-frying, take out the pan and let it cool. In order to make the filling more fragrant, you can add some melon seeds and sesame seeds when stir-frying. Su Yiyen had steamed the winter melon while making the cake embryo, so now it was just right to take it out and stir it. After making the filling as quickly as possible, it was time to wrap the outer layer of the filling. In order to make the outer layer of the cake crispy and delicious after baking, 2 different kinds of dough were needed. One was called the oil core, and the other was called the surface layer. After wrapping the oil core with the surface layer, press it flat, roll it from the outside to the inside into a spring roll, press it flat again, and turn it into 3 layers. Finally, like rolling dumplings, the dough was rolled into the surface layer to wrap the filling. Finally, he brushed a layer of egg liquid on top of the wrapped pie and sprinkled sesame seeds to ensure that the pie was more beautiful and appetizing. It was indeed a little troublesome to make, but it was precisely because it was troublesome that the pastry inside would have layers upon layers after it was baked, making it thin and soft. Su Yiyen made dozens of wife-flavored biscuits and put them in the bottom layer of the oven to bake. Then, he wiped his hands and continued with a smile. Previously, when I was making dried yuxiang shredded pork, I saw many of my audience members asking me if there were any similar dishes that didn't use this ingredient but had this name. Since everyone has asked, I'll take this opportunity to make a few more for everyone. First of all, the first ingredient is called husband and wife long slice. This dish is amazing. From the name, you can tell that this is a dish developed by a couple. However, it's called long slice, but it doesn't use long slice. Instead, it uses beef scalp, beef heart, beef tongue, tripe, and beef. Husband and wife long slice was actually a cold dish. First, these ingredients were braised and cut into slices. Then, a series of seasonings were added, stirred, and placed on a plate. Su Yiyen's knife skills were somewhat effective in making this dish. The thickness of the ingredients that were cut was even, and the plate was especially beautiful. In addition, this dish was tender and fresh, spicy and fragrant. It just so happened to be Hua Qinhuan's favorite flavor. When the time came, it should be able to gain the favor of the birthday girl. You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.